Good day. It's the 29th of July, 2021, humid as can be in Virginia and probably throughout the South. Just, brutally hot and very thick, sticky humidity. Just a couple days ago, 2 days ago actually, a police officer in Selma, Alabama, Marquis Moore, was on a lunch break. It was at 4 a.m. He was working a midnight shift. He went to his home, his apartment, and he was shot and killed by a man named Javante Stubbs for apparent no other reason than the fact that he was a police officer. And obviously the case, I just don't understand that. This man who did the shooting, allegedly did the shooting, is 18 years old, was a high school football player last year. And now he's in jail on a capital murder charge. If he isn't executed, he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. And he was arrested yesterday by the United States Marshals Service. I've got a short news clip. I'm going to put that on, and then I'm going to talk about it.
A man accused of gunning down a Selma police officer is in custody tonight.
And authorities did not waste any time getting him behind bars.
Javante Stubbs was apprehended 24 hours after authorities say he ambushed Officer Marquis Moore. WSFA 12 News reporter Brian Henry is joining us live from Chilton County, where Stubbs is being held. Brian?
Hey, Val and Mark. Early this morning, Javante Stubbs was apprehended at an apartment complex near Tuscaloosa and then immediately brought here to the Chilton County Jail.
Agents were able to identify a suspect.
Captured, arrested, and booked in jail. A big sigh of relief for Selma and beyond.
I want to thank personally from the Selma Police Department and the City of Selma all of the chiefs and law enforcement agencies that have reached out to us and showed their support and given us their prayer.
Javante Stubbs, 18 years old, found near Tuscaloosa. He faces not one but 2 counts of capital murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Authorities say Stubbs shot and killed Selma police officer Marquis Moore at Moore's apartment around 4 o'clock Tuesday morning. Investigators say it was an ambush-style murder. Also injured was Moore's girlfriend or wife.
I echo the expressed sentiments of the chief.
Today in Selma, Mayor James Perkins publicly thanked the citizens for stepping up.
If you notice in the statement that was released by SBI, they said tips, leads, and interviews. Those are citizens.
Still unclear is the alleged motive. Much like the news conference on Tuesday, city leaders again declined to accept questions at the news conference today.
I knew he would be captured real soon.
The case has largely moved on to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. Michael Jackson. According to District Attorney Michael Jackson, Javante Stubbs was a star football player for Selma High School just last fall. And again, no word on what the motive was. Val?
And there you have it. I mean, I think we've got people in this country who are so brainwashed by propaganda. And propaganda, are there good cops? Are there bad cops? Are there brutal cops? When you work in law enforcement, you're going to meet a whole variety of people, but 90% are good people. Some people tend to fly off the handle, but they're good people, and you have to watch those people. During an arrest, maybe they'll, their anxiety or their nervousness gets so high, but they're not naturally, aggressive or brutal people, because how the heck would they ever get hired? And very, very rarely will you meet someone who is dishonest, but the way the media has played this thing up ever since going back till May of last year, with the individual who was killed in Minneapolis, George Floyd, they've turned this into a thing where law enforcement is picking on people because of their race, which it's not true. I was in law enforcement for 27 years, and before that I was on a sheriff's department. I went through an academy. About 70% of the cadets in that academy were black. It isn't true. These things are false narratives, but I think they're thrown out during election years, and I hate to say that to be, cynical, but that's what it is, to motivate voters to run out and vote. But nothing ever gets better. If you ever notice, does anything ever get better? No. In these inner city areas, no, nothing gets better. And now this guy who's, it's horrible, number one, for the officer who was killed, for his family. Number two, it's horrible for even the guy that did it. And I don't have any sympathy for criminals, but he's 18 years old. And you know what? When I was in high school, I knew a kid, I'll give his name, Phil LaPointe. And he killed a guy in a robbery when he was 18 for the heck of it. And he's still in jail. And he's my age. He's in the Illinois Department. He's never gotten out. And he's just gotten older and older and older. And he's nothing but the inside of a prison. So if this young man is not put to death, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He's basically thrown his life away. So there's two tragedies here. I mean, obviously he has to be punished, and punished severely if he's convicted. Probably the most severe sanction that society has for him. But, you know, why would somebody do something like this? And, you know, in the absence of any other information, I can just say it's hatred for law enforcement. And it's hatred that's ginned up by political elites who don't have to suffer the consequences of a lack of policing in their own neighborhoods. So, again, they didn't mention it on the news clip, but it was done by the Marshals Task Force. They're very good at arresting fugitives. You know, they weren't that great when I was in DEA, but now they've become very good at it because every crook in the world has a cell phone. And cell phones can be traced very easily. So, yeah. So good work for them. You know, good work to them. And I'm just very, very sorry for Officer Moore's family. And, you know, I'm just disappointed that this young man is going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He deserves it, but, you know, or be put to death. But what a terrific waste. You know, what a terrific waste. So, you know, we have to think about the society we live in, what kind of messages people are putting out. And if you hear somebody putting out an ignorant message, you know, that we live in a systematically racist society, or if the police are this, that, or the other. I mean, we really have to stand up, I think, at times and correct that, because the loudest voices are the loudest voices, you know. And we're the ones who know, you know, what the truth is. A lot of these people who are doing this, they're politicians, and they're doing it for, you know, personal interest. And I'm not saying all politicians are bad, but a lot of them are. You know, a lot of them are just concerned about themselves, and they're putting out a false narrative. And in service of that false narrative, people were killed last year, police buildings were burned, federal courthouses were sacked or attempted to be sacked. And then you have a bunch of yahoos who run into Capitol on the 6th of January, and, you know, they treat it as if it's an insurrection, which, you know, it wasn't. It was a bunch of idiots, but be that as it may, it wasn't no insurrection. So again, we have to watch the narratives that the media and the elites are putting out there, and you know, it's hard to stay encouraged at times, but stay encouraged. Good work on the Marshals Task Force, and God bless them. Okay, thank you.